when even your sex robot won't fuck you, that's doxing.
We're live now.
You missed all of that.
No, I got the last part of that about what doxing is.
Even your sex robot turns.
Say, hey, sex robot, you look good. She says, I'm going to go fuck a more attractive incel.
Taller.
I need to go find a better looking guy with no face.
You're a classic Chad, bro. You're you know how to like.
Me?
Yeah, totally.
I'm not, because I'm I empathize.
No, you don't.
I
No,
totally-
you want.
Couldn't you tell by that whole
no,
doxing
you
rant?
want.
I totally
you want
empathize.
every ugly guy to just roll over and die.
Yeah, well, I'd prefer it if pretty much all people, most of the people I don't like.
Right.
Just rolled over. And
The ugly
died.
guys I have no problem with, actually.
Well, you have a problem with them complaining.
I have a problem with you complaining because you're
I'm
not one of them.
I'm not complaining, man. I'm not complaining.
Sometimes I feel a little bit like you want to be.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to be
In
incel.
that.
Trust me, I don't want to be
You
incel.
want to dip your toe.
No, I
in
don't.
incel.
See, that's what sucks about having about defending
Yeah.
these people is that like everyone thinks like, oh, you just want to be like you just want to be angry about something or you just want to be on their side. Like, no, dude, I just chose everyone. It's I would almost say it's a privilege thing where it's just like when you have like enough money and enough good fortune, you try to find a small group to help out and spend your time trying to better.
This is charity.
This is
Oh,
they're
yeah.
my charity case.
And you
These
thought
are-
I was shitty for saying I
That's
wanted
great.
a volunteer mixer, but you're thinking
Bullshit.
Of them as a charity.
Well, yeah, no. I'm just saying it's not the right solution.
No.
As
No, I think doing a live stream for one person is the solution.
well, it starts. every movement starts with one person. Dude.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
who
know,
knows?
that's true.
Yeah, who knows?
That's true.
And that one guy's probably at home just praying to God he can find a sex robot
Oh,
to fuck him.
trust me, starting a podcast about incels is actually a very terrifying thing because it's like you don't want the wrong type of people to like start supporting you and getting behind what you're doing. But that's comedy in general, man. Like that's pretty much like everyone who does. Like,
Doug Stanhope is afraid of his fans.
is he?
Yeah, actually.
Like what? How do you know that?
He told a story about how he was trying to go to one of his shows and he saw like a big mob outside and he was like, oh, I'll just go around. And he realized that was his fan base.
It was like an
Waiting
angry
for the
Oh,
show.
it was like an angry
Yeah.
mob. Like there's like
Yeah,
people
yeah.
throwing shit.
Yeah,
and
it's
st- and,
fucking
like, picketing.
signs, setting things on fire. And he's like, oh, God, these guys are scary. And then they were in his show. They went to see him.
Okay.
So that happens, and he's doing very well.
Well, yeah, I mean, but at the same time, he's also like terrified of the people who support. That's got to be a
Well,
really
I don't
weird
know if it's
relationship.
legitimate. He's happy.
I know, but it's just got to be a hard relationship when you finally, like, I don't know, like, just the whole idea of like having fans but not liking them. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
scary because you want to be excited about the people who are supporting
You're not
you
going
and
to like
being.
all of your fans.
Yeah, I know, but at the same time, like, you might not like a lot
I've
of your
listened
fans.
to bootleg recordings of Louis C.K., like, just doing shows at amphitheaters and stuff.
Yes.
And these people are idiots. And Louis is a great comic, and they like him.
Yeah.
But they're laughing at all the wrong stuff. Like, he wouldn't like these people. He's saying something, he says it with a weird intonation, and they go, ha, 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 ha. And it's not the joke. It's not the funny part.
And can you hear him? Does he in the set go like, that wasn't a joke?
No,
what the
no,
hell's
there's-
wrong with you?
There are 3,000 people there, so it doesn't really matter. They don't
Right.
stand out. But they're definitely...
Oh, you're thinking about that one particular
No,
leak?
tons. No, not the leak. I've
Okay.
listened to previous
Because that
ones,
one, I will say on that one, there is the guy who recorded it.
Yeah,
like
Louis.
he's got problems.
Yeah.
Like he's no, it's like I think it's a great
too.
set.
He was saying the stuff about, like, Parkland shooting. He's like, yeah!
Yeah. Fuck them.
Fuck him!
Kill those kids. And you're just like,
Get him,
God.
Louis!
yeah. And you're just like, Jesus, dude. Like I remember when I looked at the comments because it used to be streaming in a way where like you could read comments off of Reddit, and everyone was being like, that guy laughing though is fucking terrible.
Yes.
Like, he is ruining
No,
this entire
they're-
hour.
There's like 2009 sets that were recorded, 2011.
I've heard those too, which are pretty good.
No, the sets are great, but the people recording are doofuses.
Well, yeah. It's weird how it's always the people who record sets are the
they're not
ones.
allowed- they're not
I
allowed
guess,
to.
yeah, they're the kind of people that just would like get off on the whole
Like,
idea.
yeah, they said I couldn't record.
Yeah, just take out their phone. I'm looking forward to when we get to the point where like every comedy show just has those bags. What the fuck? You bumping mics now?
I know. It's like just quietly. I'm like quietly
She's
listening.
involved.
No.
Oh,
that's
you're
good.
waking her up?
Well, I was kind of I was just being, I was just listening, just getting
The
acclimated
minute we're
to
talking,
this.
it's cool. I get it. Yeah.
Oh man.
Speaking of men talking, anyone got any news that's going on? Because I wasn't really prepared for this episode for us to talk
Well, we're
about.
gonna do the
anything.
rape thing.
Oh, rape. thing? Wait, what was the rape thing again? I forgot what we talked
The
about.
mattress.
Oh right, yeah. No, we want to. God, man, it's amazing how I just can't avoid any topics that don't have to do with like the current feminist movement.
That's all right.
It's about false date rape.
Well, no, you heard it. You
we're
heard,
talking about
you
false
heard, well,
date rape.
I think you might
that's
find
not
that
what it's about.
interesting.
Well, you heard. Maybe you haven't heard about this because you really do seem uninformed about most things. But like,
Yeah.
honestly, which is a great place to be in
Erickson's
life.
Weirdo corner
Which is a
of
great-
the
which is a
internet
great-
is
which
what
is a
I haven't
great-
explored yet.
Which is
Yeah.
a great.
Please.
Which,
Yeah, Christina, you don't seem to know anything
You're a dumb bitch.
at
What do you
all.
have to say?
Yeah.
Okay.
which, no, it's a great place to be uninformed. I think I
As far
love
as-
being
As
uninformed.
far as information goes, you don't really seem to know.
anything.
Well, but yeah, your information is in some subreddit that I can't even find if I want to.
No, you just don't know where to look, dude.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, this was news. Like this
Oh,
was
yeah, I
this
wanna
was definitely news, and you
go
might have heard
on.
about it. Did
Yeah,
you
what
heard,
was
you
it?
heard about?
Did you hear that there was a small incel turtle walking up and
Have you
down?
read this? Have you heard
yeah.
about this?
He jumped
heard
off
about
of
this?
jumped off of the Brooklyn Bridge. You heard about this?
the turtle?
None of the female turtles.
He
would
committed-
fuck
fuck
'em.
out.
Committed turtle suicide.
Did you hear
Okay.
about the girl who was, I forget what college it was. I think it was like Columbia College or something like that. But she was it was like almost like a school project thing where she was going from class to class all over campus carrying her mattress
Oh,
as a way
God.
of making
Yeah,
you
that's
remember this one?
something- I mean, I've heard of that.
Yeah, where she was trying to make a statement about whether or not, like, about how we overlook like date rape and how we
Yeah.
don't talk about it. And then, if I remember correctly, I know we're gonna investigate this now. I guess this is a really old story that I guess still has a very big part in our culture, but apparently it was like it got to the point where like, they actually investigated the rape, and it turned out that like it was not. It was kind of consensual.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that's what I
okay.
remember hearing. Is like that it was consensual. So like, and yeah, you
This
never heard
happens
about
a fair
this.
amount. I haven't heard about that.
Consensual rape?
Well, no.
women accusing men. Oh, right. So that's
In
that's what we
college.
On
that's
college campus.
that's what we
Kind
were
of
talking about.
false accusations.
Right.
I'm
We
sure
were-
there's plenty of date rape for all date rape fans out there.
I don't want to let you guys down.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm not
don't
saying
worry.
that you're gonna.
Anybody is really pro date rape. No, the thing is, I think there are a lot of women who kind of regret. They make weird decisions sexually. They regret what they did sexually, so they say it was rape
Yeah.
in college because they get trashed.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a reputation, like,
They want to maintain their reputation.
yeah.
So rather than just fucking someone who they would prefer not to fuck, getting raped is going to help their reputation.
yeah. Then I'll just be the raped girl instead
Yeah.
of the
You're a
drunk
victim.
one.
People want to be a victim too.
Yeah. I think that's, I mean, it's not ever all one thing.
Have you- have
Obviously,
you- have
these
you-
things happen.
And this might be a hard subject for you to go to, but have you ever had a friend who was like accusing a guy, or maybe
But you
even,
know.
or maybe even just like
How would you know?
maybe.
I don't because I don't. Yeah,
I guess
don't-
you can't know for sure what he's done. But did you ever have like a girl who was saying like this guy's like really? Because this is what guys worry about, and maybe it's better to have conversations with women about this. Just be like, have you ever had a girl who was saying like this guy is like really abusive, but like everything you know about him in every single situation, he does not seem that way.
No, my experience would be more like one story comes to mind in college where a guy who's just we sort of made fun of him. He was in our guy friend group, but we made fun of him. The girls did.
Yeah, he was the incel.
No, he was actually tall and handsome, but he
mental
was
cell, got it.
grabby and aggressive and
called?
annoying.
Mental cell.
Mental
A
cell?
mental cell.
Mental cell. He can't. He's mentally deranged.
Oh.
Those guys, no sympathy for. No sympathy for those guys.
Never heard
yeah,
that.
because they're
Of course,
okay.
because you don't look at this stuff, dude.
I don't, and I never will.
You shouldn't. Don't worry about it. You don't need to, man. It's not gonna help you. You're doing fine without it. But okay, so this guy was in the group.
Yeah, so he was in the group, and we the women, like my girlfriends, we would make fun of him because he was just like, he was obnoxious, he was grabby, he was just like.
So why you hanging out with this
gross.
guy?
Because he was like he was like a friend of like the guys that we hung out with.
Oh, I see.
Okay,
So he
he
was
was
that
like
guy
a fringe
in the
friend,
group
yeah.
who everyone-
And
the
then
girls didn't
one
like.
night, my girlfriend got drunk and fooled around with it. I don't think they had sex, but she ended up fooling around with him, and then, in the process of the next day when we were making fun of her, then it started. then it was
Oh my
like
God, you
I
hooked
was
up with him.
drunk.
Okay.
Yeah, we're like, it was so gross. And then she was like, well, I was really drunk, and like I don't ever remember like saying that he could. And so that was where she was putting it on him and saying it got a little rapey. Then say he raped her, but it was not consensual. But that was a product of us
when
making fun
push
of her.
comes
You
to
feel
shove,
very strongly that was mostly her just
Yes,
trying to
I
like
think
take
it was-
away
yeah,
like
to
I
take
didn't
away
even want
her
this.
part in hooking up with this undesirable guy, according to us.
And-
girls.
and
I mean,
if you
guys
really-
kind of do the opposite, right? We're kind of like, dude, like I didn't, because I had a friend who, like, for sure, like he hooked up with one of these our fellow employees who, like, I was like, is not particularly like, you know, like attractive, and I'll never forget, and I didn't have a problem with it, the fact that he hooked up with her, but he would also talk about how she wasn't attractive, and I'm like, dude, you slept with her like 3 weeks ago. He's like, no, dude, I wasn't my choice. She just got in my bed and she was naked.
Yeah.
And I was like, that doesn't exactly excuse you from the decision to be inside of
See,
her.
but that's a very different thing because you're saying that doesn't excuse you, and where if a girl in that situation was like, he got in bed with me, I didn't really want to have sex. I think that girls would be like, oh my god, he did that. He
Well,
got
yeah,
in
well,
bed with
that's
you?
a sad, I guess the sad like double standard
Yes,
kind
yes,
of
yes,
it is
yes.
that like
Certainly, that's
guys
what
are
I'm
just
talking
guys are just arguing like, guys, she just wanted me so badly. So what our lies are never nearly as hurtful to her because it makes her sound insatiable. But women's lies make it sound like we're fucking Ted Bundy and we're gonna be eating babies in the basement at some point.
Yeah.
I'm curious about how girls make fun of each other for sleeping with a fucked up a guy you don't like.
That's good. It's just like, you know, I mean, just to, like, you just call it out, like, oh, what'd you do last night? And then it's and then it's a typical thing. Like
What do you say to her?
What do you like?
Call her stupid whore. You guys all start making out.
Yeah, and then we have
That's all you want.
a naked pillow
when do you guys start
It's like-
making out?
yeah,
When do you
it's
guys
like-
start licking each
when you
other's
start like
cooch?
spitting in each other's mouths and
that comes
choking
like
each other.
after we make fun of each other, then we kind of like hug, and then it
Guys,
turns into
guys,
like
I didn't
kissing.
fuck him. I'd rather fuck you.
Yeah, and we're like, we're sorry.
how
and
little
then
clothing are you guys wearing?
just underwear.
No, but that's a good question. Actually,
See-through tank top.
this is a good thing to talk about. Like, so how do women make fun of other women for sleeping with guys?
Yeah, just
that
like
are gross.
Like
Yeah.
like that. I can't believe like how was we just it just comes from a lot of details. Like okay, that guy, it's up at the top. That guy was like, I can't believe you hooked up with John.
Yeah.
He's disgusting. What was his penis like? What was his body? I want to know every detail
I wanna know.
of what he looks like. What did he do? Did he fuck you like a jackhammer? It sucked, or was it like good? Or and it's just it's like, girls want to know every deplorable, minute detail, and then we'll make fun of that. You normally the man more than the girl, but we'll make fun of the girl for hooking up with them.
And then they'll just like try to deny it, being like, I don't even remember it. I
Yeah,
don't
it
even
put
know what I
off
was
as much of the
doing.
response. Like I was drunk. We didn't he was only inside me for a little bit, and I told him we had to stop. Like things like like that's kind of.
I only put in the tip, guys.
I just made him go down on me, and then I said we weren't gonna do anything after that, and just kind of trying
That's
to.
another example of how women always will have the power in the story. Like it's because, like I said, the guys like I couldn't do anything. She was
Back
like
to
on
the
top
incel
of me.
narrative.
Yeah.
Like no, but it's just like
victim, fucking victim.
Every man is a victim. I agree.
Every man is a victim.
We're all victims.
Believe all victims.
Believe all men.
Believe all men.
Believe all men. That would be. I'm surprised we didn't get that hashtag.
Believe all mental cells.
We
That's
got
what I
all.
say.
No, don't believe the mental cells at all. Don't believe
all
those guys.
mental
Those guys are out of their mind.
That's what I always say. Since I learned what
What
mental
do
cell
guys
is
do
20
when they
minutes ago.
make fun of like Ben hooked up with an ugly chick? Like how would
Yeah.
you make fun? Like what goes
Well,
down?
my issue is that I completely own it.
Okay.
And
it makes
That's
it not
that's
funny.
the only way you can get out of it is you have to just say like, dude, I'm a monster. I'll fuck anything.
Yeah.
You know that about
I've
me.
said that on
Seriously,
stage
no,
probably
he-
100 times.
Yeah, and every one of
And
my
it's an
friends,
exaggeration.
every one of my
Yeah,
friends,
yeah.
like in fact, I've been the guy who like has fooled around with someone that I'm definitely like not proud of, and my friend is like giving me shit for it. I'm like, well, you've hooked up with this girl. I was like, dude, I'm a fucking freak. I'll hook up with anything. It doesn't matter. You're the one who says he's got like fucking like like morals or whatever.
Standards.
Well, yeah.
Standards.
To
there you
be
go.
to be honest, like now that I say that, it's actually not true. But when I was younger, I
What are
would
you
fuck.
talking about? You're telling me about someone
What?
forever ago, like that you were like
Forever ago?
Yeah.
Who was? Well, it doesn't really matter.
I don't know their
Who was
name,
it?
dude.
Who
I don't
did it?
ask for names. I don't want to know.
The point is, what I was gonna say is like when I was in high school, I remember I hooked up with this girl who I thought was fine,
Okay.
and then a couple of my friends saw her and they're like, she's not. Why would you do that? And in high school, I didn't have the resources, the emotional resources to like respond. So it's just like I don't know.
yeah, exactly. And
I
you
just,
get like
yeah.
you're like
I don't. I thought she was better looking.
yeah, the
It's
lighting
just
was
very
weird.
uncomfortable.
Well, that's a weird moment too, because you're like, you thought she was okay looking, and basically everyone's saying like your perception
Yeah.
is totally wrong.
I definitely, but I've had that peer pressure, and your friends are also going to be like so much harder on things. But like I remember I hooked up with one guy in college, and like
I know
I
what
thought
you're
he was
talking about.
good.
Yeah.
I thought he was fine looking, and then it was just like, oh my
You were
god,
like,
he's got a
ugh.
lisp. He's like a fucking.
They're getting on his
idiot.
list?
Yeah,
Oh,
they got
shit.
down on his list.
Yeah, I think with,
Fucking retard.
yeah, you fucking retards now.
with guys, I definitely think it always comes down to like that's what you're capable of. Like it's always kind of like that's the best you can do. I don't know if that's with women though. Like, is there a status thing attached to it?
Yeah,
It's like,
definitely. Oh, for sure. If you're having sex with especially college, I just go back to because I feel like that was where such a microcosm. Of
Well, that's also
society,
where
like,
the bullying I think is the hardest.
Yeah, and
because like it
people
really
get-
is all about like who's who and like
Right.
who's screwing what.
But yeah, one of our roommates, she was hooking up with a guy who was on the basketball team. He was like, he wasn't a starter, but like that's like a high status guy.
Right.
You know, it's like,
Wisconsin
oh, he's
basketball?
hot. Like,
That's a
yeah,
big deal.
Wisconsin. Yeah.
Yeah. Go
Wisconsin
Badgers.
basketball. Like, exactly. And then I'm hooking up with a guy with a lisp. Like, that's all I was, and then they're like, you're an idiot.
There could
'cause,
be a basketball player with a list.
Oh,
That's
certainly.
possible.
He was not.
It's just interesting the way we get out of it is very different.
Right. Well, and the person you were thinking of is someone who I was hooking up with for an extended period of time who put on a lot of weight over the course of that
like
process.
while you were, okay.
While we were hooking
Oh,
up.
the way you had told to me like they just always like I just thought they always had that weight.
No, I thought I told. Well,
Maybe you did.
she
but
did. She put on a lot of weight.
A lot of it.
And
Okay.
I just kept going back.
Yeah, you're like, well, it's already
Maybe
been.
she'll lose the weight.
Yeah.
And then she hasn't lost it.
Yeah, I would stop after a while. But I'm sorry, you ruined the whole.
That's kind
reason
of
why I'm
crazy, though.
coming
Yeah,
here.
I've never like had that.
It was like a year and a half process, and she put on some serious pounds.
You might have been the reason for that, dude.
Who knows?
She felt so comfortable with
The
this
last time
steady
we-
thing that was always coming back to her. And
Last
she's
time
like,
we
I don't even
hooked
have to
up-
work on myself at all, do
Yeah,
I?
no, that could be it.
I've always got Ben Hurwitz.
And the last time, she doesn't know my last name.
I've always got Benny.
The last time we hooked up, she was like, "Do you want to order food?" And I was like, slowly backed out of the apartment. No, I don't want to watch you eat.
Yeah, I don't have the money.
You
for
want-
that.
Yeah. Well, no, not even.
Yeah,
I just
just-
even if she ate and I sat there,
Yeah.
I can't do that. Watch a rotund woman eat Thai food and then fuck her.
Are you guys down with fucking after eating? Because I don't like having a big meal and going to sex. It just makes
It always depends.
It just doesn't do it.
Yeah,
for me.
it's just kind of. I feel like that it depends. I mean,
If
a
it was
big,
gross,
full
yeah.
If it's a big meal, I'm talking
Korean
about big
barbecue.
meals. I can't do. That's why whenever I do
Big
go on dates,
lasagna.
I'm always eating like half. Like I always get. That's why I want to share. I'm like, can we just share the fucking meal? Because
Yeah.
I don't want to like overdo it right now.
You get like really stuffed, yeah. And then it's like I don't know how it is for guys, but for girls, like it just already feels like your stomach's so full, and then the idea of someone like going
Putting something else in there.
inside
Yeah,
more,
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Too much.
I used to do it with my ex. We'd eat a ton of food, and then I just get cramps while we were having sex.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, we
just like a
still do it.
Roman.
She's farting. I'm cramping.
Jesus, dude.
Just throwing up on the side of the bed, going back to
Yeah.
it.
Sweating a lot.
Have you guys ever eaten during sex? The George Costanza thing.
During?
Oh,
Yeah,
during.
no.
No, never.
I think I ate
I've,
one.
like,
I think I one time might have grabbed a bite of something.
I might
that
have-
was like because we were already snacking on something near the bed.
Yeah.
And then like halfway, I think it was like between reps, I was just like, I want to take a bite of this chocolate, and I was like, that's actually kind of really
chocolate's-
enjoyable. You know?
yeah, chocolate
No, yeah,
whipped cream that doesn't.
You didn't
count.
eat a burrito.
Yeah, no, it was not
didn't
like
take
it was. It was a plate of spaghetti that I started like
Or
twirling
like
up on a
it's
fork.
salted cured meat, and like that's what George Costanza's eating. Like,
No, yeah, he had a whole sandwich that he was putting in his mouth.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that was a good scene.
No, I've not done that.
Okay, so let's look at this. I've got the Columbia University rape controversy up here. In April 2013, that's like what? That's like 6 years ago. Emma. What?
Yes.
Well, yeah, it's 2019.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to
Let's
figure.
continue.
Okay, I'm just trying.
Wait. Let's really focus on when was that?
Well, no, it might have been before or after Me Too. I'm just trying to figure out
Oh,
what,
yeah,
what
this was
happened,
before,
guys.
long
I'm trying to give some
before.
context to where we're at in this
Me
world.
Too is 2017.
We haven't. I think we've only gotten one bad Spider-Man film. Emma Solkowicz, an American fourth-year visual arts major at Columbia University in New York City, filed a complaint with Columbia University requesting expulsion of fellow fourth-year student and German national Paul Nungesser alleging that he had raped.
What's the etymology of that name?
Yeah, what is German? It says
Focus on
it's
that.
right up there,
Where did this take
dude.
place, and where's that guy from?
Yeah, he's from. Well, yeah. What was our relationship with Germany back then?
2013.
That might have been
What
that
was-
might have been the smoking gun.
There
Maybe he
There was
was.
some friction with Germany back then.
Yeah, no. This is actually a
Yeah,
this
there
is a
was a
this is a false
geopolitical
flag operation. Is what I
scrabble.
think.
Yeah, back then.
In
man.
Solkowicz's dorm room on August 27, 2012, Nungesser was found not responsible by a university inquiry. So he's not found responsible. In 2017, the university issued a statement acknowledging that Nungesser experienced a very difficult time, promised to keep its gender-based misconduct policies fair, and settled Nungesser's lawsuit under undisclosed terms.
Okay.
Okay.
I think we get the gist.
So wait, no, where's the? I'm trying to find the. Okay, here we
You have
go.
any photos?
You're the one who wanted to look into
Any
this.
photo
This was the topic you wanted to discuss, dude.
Yeah, no,
After
actually.
Columbia declined to take action against Nungesser, Solkowicz produced a work of performance art entitled "Mattress Performance: Carry that Weight" as a senior thesis, which involves Solkowicz carrying a 50-pound dorm mattress on campus to represent the painful burden rape victims carry throughout daily life, and in protest of what Solkowicz described as Columbia University's mishandling of the sexual assault complaint. Nungesser called her. Nungesser called her. What? What are you huffing for?
Oh no, yeah, I was just like I
It's a heavy thing
I
to
did-
like.
I was like, no, I'm just thinking about that. Because my first thought when you say performance art piece with the mattress, like, it just feels, feels very like attention seeking behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of
Right,
people.
like
a lot of
she
people felt that
wanted
way.
it
A lot of
for
people felt
herself.
like she was like trying to make it about her.
Because if you're really trying to help rape victims, or it just feels like a little bit different than just walking around campus in a very photo op way, hoping people are going to talk about you and what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, I also think we're also in this like really. It's really difficult now
Also,
because
she
like
probably
you,
didn't get raped.
Well, I mean,
Well, we're gonna look
whatever.
into it. We're gonna
Like
look into that,
none of
yes.
us, and rape is such a. It's just like, it's such a hard thing to define, and then have a university. You're asking a university to look into it and decide. It's just muddy, man. That's really
to have a university look inside of your rape case.
yeah.
Well, it's going to be difficult to prove.
Yes.
Yes. Well, that's why we have so much conversation about like just rape in general. Is like it's a really, I mean, icky for lack of a better term, kind of like situation where like a
Icky,
lot of it
muddy.
goes over like a matter of he said, she said, and trying to
Yes.
figure out like what happened in a situation you have very little evidence for.
Right.
And this whole thing now of like I've heard a couple guys say that they'll be like fooling around with a girl, and and they're in the moment, and then she'll be like, I consent.
Wait, consents
that's
what?
Jeremy's
Consents
bit.
what?
Jeremy said that, but I've heard two other guys say that women have said
Yeah,
that during.
yeah.
I don't know what you're
find
talking
that
about. Wait,
really
wait, wait, can
interesting.
you-
Yeah, no,
can
we can
please-
get into this.
Sorry,
what are we
I'm all
talking
over the
about?
map. Let's
No,
finish
no,
my
no, no,
words.
no. This sounds
Erickson's
really interesting.
never had consent.
Oh,
before.
Eric, this is another thing. God, there's so little you know about. It's fun talking to you.
I consent, she said. I thought you said
Yeah.
I can sense. I'm like, I can sense what?
I know,
Like you
I
can sense his
consent.
rapistness in the middle of sex? I consent? I've never heard a girl say that. No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, but
But normally I'm the kind of guy who like holds off until they basically are saying, I need you to fuck me. Like I'm not going to like assume anything.
I could see that with it.
Yeah, totally.
I need
I
you
need this right now.
so
Yeah,
bad.
no, I'm not.
but okay, but anyways, let's go back to this mattress.
Let's go
thing.
back to
I
this
mean, what do
fake
you what do
rape
you
case.
think about? Yeah,
well, that
what do we
was-
think about it?
Wait, and
The consent thing was interesting.
Yeah,
the consent thing. That was
yeah,
a-
like
This
saying
whole idea of
that.
consent is fascinating.
Yeah, but like having verbally,
so guys are asking now if they can do this. They're not just
verbalize
taking a
that
pussy.
when you're making out
It
with a
takes
man.
you out of the moment when
Totally,
someone
yes.
says I consent.
Totally.
Very much.
It's a hard thing to say. That's well. Also, I think mostly it comes
If
from.
they're not joking.
Also,
Yeah.
the feedback that I've gotten my whole life is that women are the ones who find it the least attractive when a guy is asking for permission.
Yes,
like
to do anything.
there's
Can I
nothing
kiss
wrong.
you?
with
Can I touch? No.
Right. Any guy who says, "Can I kiss you?" It's like that is the worst move possible. And
Yeah.
like, I'll never forget. I
Mental
was.
cell.
What's that?
It's a mental cell that is.
Mental cell.
Mental cell. What if that?
That's a mental cell.
Who wants to ask?
Prototypical mental cell.
Can I kiss you?
Go on.
When I was in grad school, I was dating this girl who was like not even like beyond third wave feminist, like crazy. She was picketing against prostitution in the middle of Chicago. She was like a Rhodes Scholar. She's like
She was against prostitution.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh God. I'm sorry, man. You're just hurting other women if you're against prostitution.
What the fuck?
Did I sound angry? Did I sound like I was
it was
frustrated.
more of like a disappointed.
Yeah,
very
it's more like a
disappointed.
fatherly, like, oh God,
Yeah.
poor sweet summer child.
But yeah,
I
really.
love hookers.
But she was clearly like, yeah.
So
in it.
she's as feministic as it gets. Super into it. She's wants to be a politician. She wants to be president, I think. And she and all of her, we all went out and got, me and all of her like feminist friends went out and got, I think soup. I think we went to Soup Plantation.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, that doesn't really matter, but we're all eating soup.
Minestrone.
Yeah, we're eating minestrone. Vagina-shaped minestrone. And they all were like, a guy should always ask for consent. Always.
like, should always verbally be like,
if a
"Can
guy
I put
doesn't
my penis in your vagina?"
If a guy doesn't say, "Can I kiss you?" I don't do it. They all said that together.
Did you ask any of them how many
Wow.
times this happens to you and how many times?
Well, and
it's-
I was like, me and this chick are hooking up. I don't know.
yeah. I'm with the ultra.
But these were
femme,
and these were
and she
friends of
doesn't-
hers.
Yeah.
So did you?
And
ever,
I was like, that's a Dave Chappelle sketch, and everyone laughed because it's so ridiculous. An NDA or a consent form before you have sex is absurd.
Yeah.
no, totally agree with that. My point is, did you
Unless you're
did you have a
famous, I guess.
conversation with her about like, yo, how do you feel about these friends of yours who are completely out of their minds?
Not really. We didn't really talk that much.
we left the plantation. We got into a taxi, started making out, fucking each
We
other.
were really spoke. Yeah, I was always confused. She was like, "Yeah, I think that's the right thing to do." I'm like, "But you realize that that's not what you're doing." And she's like, "Yeah, but I think it's the right thing." It's all about theory for those people. They're like,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no
they're autistic
practice.
maniacs. Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
They're autistic.
They were
maniacs.
all autistic maniacs.
They're all
And
at Asperger's.
very intelligent
They're all mental
Asperger's.
cells. They're all just a bunch
Well,
of
and
mental
here's the thing
cells.
is that
who were
idea too.
believing
That
in
also
consent.
like pocket. That's like putting all women in one category. Like, you know what? Some women aren't sexually. Some women are turned on by things that hover over that line of not consensual.
I wish those
and-
women were a little more vocal.
Rape fantasies.
Yeah, rape
Yes.
fantasies.
I like how you you whisper that.
Rape
in the mic.
fantasy.
It makes it louder when you do it that way.
and like things that not as intense as that, but like a man. You know how many at work? Just the other day, I had a conversation with like 4 girls, and one of the girls was talking about how a man just grabbed her and pulled her in and kissed her, and all of us simultaneously went, "Oh, that's so hot!"
Right.
Like, yeah, and I mean that's. If
at
a
you,
man
you're
was
getting all-
like,
you're getting all
I
nuts
want
right
to do
I
that.
love when a guy just fucking pulls me in. Oh shit.
Could you guys step out for a minute? So it's, I don't know, it's hard, but a 21-year-old, like, they're idiots. Like, when you're 20, you think you got all the answers, and that's why this
You
stuff's
think you know
happening.
everything you need to know about rape, and you have
Yeah,
no
and you don't
fucking
know
clue.
the half of
You
it.
don't know rape.
There's nothing better to say to a 21-year-old who told you they got raped with do you even know what that is, sweetheart?
We should start a game show in here called "You Don't Know Rape."
Yeah, no, that's gonna help that's gonna help the promotional blitz. Okay, let's look
Time
at
for you.
Don't know.
Rape.
we're steadily becoming the Gas Digital of the West Coast.
Christina's the Vanna White of rape. Christina, show us the rape.
Do we have consent on the board?
No, that's a rape.
but it's yeah, dude. I don't know. I mean, we were talking about this like it, and that whole consent and date rape on college campus. I mean, that ruined people's lives, and a lot of professors, actually, they don't get talked about how many professors got fired
Yep.
from allegations, and some of them had no backing to them. They're just simply saying
It's just the way that there were false allegations in the Me Too movement.
Well, that's the
yeah,
that's the
there's
problem.
always going to be
Like for,
that.
entertainers. It's the same thing.
Yeah, that's the problem is that like
But if we're talking about universities, like the Me Too as we know it is accredited to like Harvey Weinstein and Ronan
Hollywood.
Farrow.
Yeah.
But really, it kind of started it was like 10 years prior on campuses when people really started talking
Everyone was
about
talking about date rape.
date rape and what's going on it's kind of started on campuses.
date rape or the conversation.
The conversation
Okay.
that I think then evolved
nice
and erupted
petri dish.
into what we call Me Too. Yeah.
It's a nice petri dish of date rape.
Yeah.
College
exactly.
campus. You can study it. It's
Oh, I
It
see
is
what
because
you're
it's
saying.
all it's concentrated
Yeah.
and it's
I don't know why I was thinking like Petri dish, like the thing that you have like M&Ms on your on your kitchen, like on a dining room table.
Jesus Christ.
a
Can
petri
I
dish.
get a more educated
Do you know?
co-host?
Yeah. Do you know what a petri dish?
I'm sorry, dude. I get all my education from Reddit and incel forums.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell a
Yeah.
Petri dish
No, he knows
is.
what a mental cell is.
Yeah, these words.
But yeah, you can study a lot of. Well, college campuses are basically like small microcosms of like young adulthood. Like it's just a bunch of
Yeah.
kids acting like adults. You see really just like what.
And people have they have the education and they have the free time to stop and talk about these things. Where a
They're also horny
migrant
as fuck.
worker
Yes.
who got
And drunk.
who got raped or something, like she doesn't have the time to carry a fucking mattress. She's got to feed her family and go to work for 14 hours a day. I mean,
Yep.
it's a very privileged. People need to understand. You're coming from a privileged place when you have time to extrapolate and talk about rape.
And create a performance art piece about
Yes,
it.
that's
Yeah.
a very
that is
privileged
the best
person.
take I've heard on rape. Like on rape a victim so far. You are very privileged to even have the time to report this.
yeah, I'd say-
just so you know.
I'd say uppity.
I mean, it's
No,
just
you're right.
true
You're right.
though. It's rape has existed
Back in the day when
since
we were
humans
so busy
existed.
trying to maintain a household, they
It
couldn't even talk
sucks,
about the
man.
rape that they had happening to them. They're just like, okay, you know what?
You used to be allowed to rape your wife.
Yeah. Up until the 80s, a woman couldn't. There were states where it didn't exist a man raping his wife.
Right.
You could be separated for years, and he could come into your home
Rape
in the middle of
you.
the night, rape you, beat the shit out of you, and there were no legal repercussions to
No,
it.
we never
pretty
talk
hot,
about
right?
the pornography
So
made.
hot.
Can you save that as a drop? So hot.
Yeah, no, keep that one. That's gonna be one of our sound effects. I'm gonna play that during people's mics.
And then he would come into your house.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Was Wisconsin one of those states?
no, they were more unsurprisingly
Probably
southern states.
the whole South.
Yeah, that was
I
like
thought
19 I
Wisconsin
think
was right next to Florida up
1986.
until right now.
Wisconsin could very well have been, or was it not?
But what?
One of the rape states?
Probably was a late adapter to the rape, to recognizing like that women could be raped in a marriage.
That's fucking
I'd imagine California was pretty progressive.
Yeah, possibly.
Who knows?
But that's a
Let's
weird
look at- let's
thing,
pull that
man.
up.
Like it's a
Oh, it is weird.
women being considered property. I mean, think about that. That was like
Well,
that's been very recent.
State legislation to begin with is bizarre. A lot of it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
State to state.
And
Well, you
yeah,
can-
and when
in
things
Utah,
get
you can probably
overturned-
still do that.
Yeah. Who know? I mean, who
Rape all your
knows?
wives.
Rape. It's yeah. As long as you're not wearing like a checkered shirt on a Wednesday or something.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that's like they have the
Yeah, no,
weirdest.
can't chew gum. You can rape whoever you want.
Yeah, exactly. Just the weirdest laws. But I don't know. I mean, Erickson, you've been kind of quiet. Usually quite opinionated on these.
On these rape
topics.
things, what do you think you want to hear about from my side? of
I
the
want to know
spectrum?
what you
We
think
wanna
about
know
women.
if you've raped
who
anyone.
Yeah.
Not to,
First
I
of all,
mean,
have
like,
you raped?
No, no, I have not raped. at
Secondly,
all.
What do you think about this?
Yeah.
About raping?
What do you think about women being like speaking up and saying that this is happening more? And
I mean, obviously, if you've gotten raped, I want you to like speak up about it. The problem is that we just like I read this really good article. I wish I'd saved where it's talking about like how in medicine and like clinical testings, like you obviously have a certain amount of like in the equation, it's a factor in the amount of like false positives and false negatives you have. Like you have to account for those in every single like experiment and results because that's what happens. There's some things and that happens in rape accusations. There's going to be a lot of and the questions are going to have more. The way you build your system, you're either going to have a higher rate of false positives or a higher rate of false negatives. And it seems like we're heading towards a landscape right now where like we're comfortable with tons of false positives.
Yeah,
like
I think so.
It's almost worth it to us to have more false positives, so that way we know all the true positives are being found, rather than having false negatives and having a guy being able to commit rape again. And that's to me just like a very I mean, that to me leans more fascist
yeah,
than the other way around because
Yeah.
it's like obviously I don't want a guy who committed rape to get off, but I also don't want an entire building full of dudes who just pissed off the wrong girl and decided that you wanted to get back at him, and now he's in like a 2x4 cell his whole life. 2x4 feet. I'm talking about feet, not inches.
what country
That'd
is
be
that?
mental weird. We're just gonna squeeze you into a
They
little
break
fucking.
his spine and they put him in a 2x4 cell.
Yeah. You're never raping again, my friend. But you know what I mean? Like they're not gonna like.
My friend.
One of those
You're
countries.
still my friend.
Eastern Europe.
Yeah,
They
Eastern
would say
Europe.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Moldova, they say my friend.
Yeah,
And they smush you into a suitcase.
exactly. But you know what I'm saying is that like
I think
that's
that's very
kind of like where a lot of women and people want to be headed to right now, and like we don't talk about that because it's like obviously. I don't know why we're so extremist in the way. It's just the idea is like if one person gets away with it, we've failed. And it's just like, yeah, but it's like if you're going to lock up innocent people, like, doesn't that bother you? It's like, no, well, it's not going to be innocent people. It's like, no, there definitely are going to be innocent people locked up.
Yeah.
If all
and
you
there
do
are
is,
people like that. Like you fit the mold of this. Like, did you ever see? I watched the 30 for 30 on the
Rapist.
Duke lacrosse
Oh,
team.
yeah.
And I was like, holy shit! Like, I mean, they did not.
Didn't happen.
They did not happen.
just
And
seem
to
like
this
rapists.
day, they fit privileged white lacrosse players going to Duke and a black
Oh, that
stripper.
was- they were not-
and
they
they
didn't rape
did
her?
not do it. But what is in
wait,
everyone's mind?
there were guys who took Instagram photos of some girl in college, right?
I'm
That was
talking about-
pre-Instagram.
This is
yeah,
different.
this was way
Okay.
pre-Instagram,
Okay.
and this was It turned out that they don't know all the details, but the Duke lacrosse players did not
Rape her.
do anything wrong. Did
Okay.
not rape her, and they were villainized. Some of them I think were kicked off.
I think they were all kicked off
Yeah, and definitely kicked off the team.
They're
I'm not sure.
kicked out of the school. Their
Right,
lives
that's
were ruined.
Yeah.
the thing that's like that's what drives me crazy.
But they fit a perfect stereotype. Like
profile,
they were
yeah,
villains,
exactly.
like for unequivocal villains, and we stereotype them. But they're not people who right now that they don't fit a victim mold.
Yeah, but my
So
biggest
people are
problem,
like, that's
my
probably
biggest
fine.
problem with that is, and this is the hard, for lack of better, black pill truth
Okay.
of
Ooh,
the
yeah, let's
situation,
do a black
which is
pill
like,
truth.
is it
The hard black pill truth
Yeah.
about rape.
about rape? No,
Yeah.
yeah, this is something people do not want to deal with. It's that like, unfortunately, to get raped, male or woman, but especially as a woman, obviously, it's a very traumatizing, life-altering experience. But what's like on a mathematical level, even more altering is being a man accused of rape and not being able to get a job, not having to go around having everyone think that you are a rapist. To be falsely accused, especially, like, is almost more harming to your life than actually getting raped because you've lost abilities to survive and sustain yourself because society has pretty much expunged you. And that's the thing we don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
Is that like it's like, yeah, obviously having your body taken advantage of and being violated for anyone is like, you're probably gonna have a hard time sleeping. You're gonna be hyper vigilant. You're gonna have a hard time being like comfortable around people. There are gonna be certain functions that you can't operate during the day. But we would believe through therapy and obviously through like, hard work, you're gonna be able to get over those things. And also, people aren't gonna blame you for feeling that way. But if you just got accused of having assaulted someone, and maybe even if you get off, right? Like maybe it's decided this guy definitely didn't do it. We don't see enough evidence. There's still gonna be people out there who are gonna be like, no fucking way you can come into my fucking place of business. There's no way I want you even near me. You're scum. I believe that
And-
person.
and
I
you're- and I think it's
I'd love
important to
to see you
remember-
get run over by a bus.
Totally. And that's but what you described is also rape. How it's looked at in industrialized Western world, primarily America. I mean, you need to understand though that there are still cultures where if you get raped, you have all that you just talked about, all
Yes.
the trauma, plus you're ostracized from your
Totally,
village,
totally,
plus people
totally.
call you a whore, and you're not allowed to get married, and all the. I mean, the complications from rape in other cultures is astronomical.
100%. But we don't talk. But let's be real. We
No,
don't
we
talk
don't
about that at
have
all
that.
in this
Yeah.
country. That's not what people who are galvanizing against rape in America are really upset about.
Yeah.
That's not why they're attacking lacrosse players or like accusing guys in college of like having raped them just because they regret something they did the other night. Not that they all are that way, but just like that's why it happens in this country. We more care about the dynamic between men and women in our own country.
Yeah.
I think what happens in other countries is disgusting. It's unfortunate, but like when it comes to this country, it
All
just
of
seems like
it.
there's a what?
Every other country.
Anything. If you're
Everything
not,
that
if
has
you're
ever
not,
happened in any other country is disgusting.
pretty much. If you're not in America, you're pretty
You're
much
fucking trash.
Yeah, you're garbage.
I don't even really know what's happening. I'm sure there's a lot of bad stuff.
You sound just like our president.
yeah. Luckily, I'm not the president.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Yeah, for you. But you are right. Like the way that your life can be ruined from just being accused of
We don't
doing
acknowledge that,
anything.
and we don't even care. We don't even have sympathy right now
Yeah.
for it. And
No,
to me,
you're
that's just
right.
kind of that's incredibly callous when you're looking at life through a long-term perspective
Mm-hmm.
of like, okay, so where's this person going to like take two people? Well, I guess I would even say take two different people. One girl who actually gets raped, and another guy who just gets accused of it at 20. And like follow what their life is like after 30 years.
That's
now
a
the guy
great
who
idea for a documentary.
now
Yeah, that is actually
7 Up, rape.
7 Up.
seven,
7 Up?
yeah, 7 Up. I know. We both were like we're like 7 Up.
Brought to you
rape.
by 7 Up. Wait, what?
It got the cool spot. He's giving a
sponsor.
thumbs up. Jesus Christ.
There's a documentary called 7 Up. I think it's British.
7
and
Up.
it follows kids every 7 years of it was like a 40-year documentary.
Oh, okay.
7 years, every 7 years they record. It's a longitudinal documentary. It's fascinating.
Yes.
And some of them seem precocious, like they're going to do something, and then they're just like, horrible.
What do you mean they
Desolate.
seem
They're, like,
precocious?
homeless.
Oh.
They seem like they're going to be intelligent and do something meaningful later on, and they're like a ditch digger by the end of it.
What happens?
You see in 7 Up.
Oh, okay. So
know,
it just
that's the whole
follows
point.
people.
Just follows people, and it's not. It's
They
just
check in every
anybody.
7
it's
years.
just like any. They kind of pick
It's
a random sample.
It's like 5 to 10 people. I forget.
And they
how many
usually
people.
always become like nobodies.
No, some of them do fine. They
I just love the idea that like everyone they
this,
pick is
this
Kurt.
documentary ruined their lives.
Every 7 years, they stole from
Yeah.
it. They fell
Yeah,
into
yeah.
Every
their
7 years they're like,
livelihood.
stop following me. I don't want to be a part of this anymore. Everything that happens to me is terrible.
They're filling out a Scantron, and the documentarian puts another one in, and they fail.
This is compelling shit, man. This is how it's supposed to be.
Oh my god.
No, but it's cool to see what happens to people over time. Anyone.
yeah, anybody. to
Especially
look
a
at them.
rapist.
No, well,
Or
not,
rape-
but
rapee.
a rape victim and a suspected rapist.
Right.
And like honestly, I mean, obviously you'll never know for sure if they obviously raped or not, I guess, because there's like, there's always that doubt. But I'm just saying, find somebody who gets off, who like basically it's decided that they are not guilty of the rape, and follow their life for like 20 years. I'm sure it's not going to be simple, because I know I don't have friends, but I've got friends of friends. Because after I got arrested in South Dakota, like one of the stories someone told me that kind of give me perspective of my situation was about a guy who was a fitness coach.
Why are you pointing at me?
Just saying, watch out, man. Watch out, because you do a lot of private lessons. This guy was like, he really into fitness, and he had one of these clients who really liked him, female, and just one day out of nowhere she wanted like a private lesson, like in this room, and he didn't think anything of it. He's like, whatever, fine, no problem, no big deal.
Done that.
Yeah, exactly. With the face you've got on doesn't make it
Private
seem
lesson.
Of course, right this
Oh,
way.
I see where this is going. But my
Yeah.
point is, like, so they go in the room, just had a lesson, right? Nothing big, no big deal. Next thing you know, like 2 weeks later, he's getting police coming into his office, basically saying he's accused of having sexually assaulted this woman, and he eventually, well, you know what's crazy? Actually, he didn't even get off. He it was just there's so much doubt around the situation. Like the people who I know him have known him for almost his whole life. He had a wife. And like a lot of people knew him very well and never saw any of this kind of behavior or anything that would suggest this was his behavior. So it seems very likely that he didn't do it. But the point of the matter is this accusation and the situation is so clouded that like his lawyer's even like, this does not look good for you. He got his fitness license stripped. He lost his job. He had to close down his business. People wouldn't hire him. A lot of people on the
Stop raping
street
my
who
clients.
Yeah, you gotta watch out. But it is, you know what? And it's
My
it's-
point is that he had to settle in court and make basically this weird way that says like I'm not guilty, but I'm also not fighting it. So I'm going to take 2 years of probation and just like take courses on sexual like conduct. And he slowly worked his way back up to being in some way connected to the fitness world, but he doesn't have the same career he had. And that's all because one woman I don't think she even said he raped her. She just said he sexually assaulted her.
Yeah.
So like.
Well, I think what we're at right now, to me, is an overcorrection of something that went undiscussed for hundreds of years, decades in our society, and now it like there is an overcorrection right now.
Yeah.
However, sometimes that's just the way movements work. You got to take it too far, and then you find somewhere in the middle. But it was way too far the other way, for a long time where you're just raping whoever you want.
Yep.
And
willy-nilly.
there was really no repercussions. There was really no, and rape is such a strong word, but like,
No, you're right,
oh, this
though.
girl
You're right.
kind of, she said no, but like, I'm already hard and I wanted to fuck her, so I'm just going to hold her down and get off.
That's rape.
right. But I think some men wouldn't think that, you know, like there's some like,
I want to talk to those guys and
Well, that's-
understand what's going on in their head.
That's like old school date rape.
When
and
she
that's what
starts
a lot of
yeah,
these
that
guys
is,
were
that's,
accused of.
that is, yeah. That's like
Old school.
date rape.
When she starts crying, like, is that not a clue that this is maybe something that you should probably stop doing?
Some
like,
chicks are into that.
I cannot be with her. That girl I can't be with.
Yeah, crying is.
I've tried a lot of.
not-
I've tried some kinky shit.
Crying is not.
I've tried some kinky crap with girls, but I'm not into her pretending like this is a horrible situation.
But so I have a friend who was raped.
Okay.
And it was, and even the way she talks about it, it's a very nuanced thing. I mean, like point blank, yes, I was raped, but like we went to the beach together, we were flirting, I was certainly attracted to him, and then we're kissing, and then no, and pulling, and
Really?
pulling underwear off and like making it happen, and even
him-
and
and
she'll
she's-
say
and
it,
she's like,
she
"I
said
don't
it
want this, I
even
don't
when it
want
was
this." Yeah.
done, it took her, and I totally empathize with that feeling of it finishing, and she goes back to her hotel room, and it's like, it's not like I was just raped, like I can't. It's like what happened.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
going over everything. It's just that's what makes it really difficult. And then a week later, you're like, you see it much clearer, and you're like, I was raped by that man, and now it's a week later, and it's like
There's some gray area because when everyone thinks about rape, they think about a stranger grabbing you.
yes, yeah.
And fucking.
Well, I feel like actually nowadays we're moving more towards the whole idea of like your best friend could rape you at any second.
Right. Well,
And-
Yeah, that's true. That's
Right.
the fear.
And that's
you're talking
terrifying.
About that's the overcorrection.
Totally. But it's
But that's but
Scary
I
right
just
now.
I just explained, or I just shared that story just because like I think a lot of women.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Very brave of me for sharing someone else's story. But I think that I just like that's where you can empathize, because like you said, if a stranger grabs you and you're walking down the street, like
That's
that's
yeah.
a thing.
That's
a very black and white.
CSI,
Yeah.
Law and Order, SVU, rape.
When you're making out with a guy and you kind of, maybe you were like, I kind of want to have sex with him, but then no, I don't want to.
So it's like you almost feel like there should be different, like the way there's different levels of murder, there should be different levels of rape. Because maybe that's what we need. We need different
Yeah, like a
types of
first-degree
rape. Like we got to
rape,
stop just
second-degree
blanketing it
rape.
under. It's like it's all rape, so therefore it's all exactly the same. It's like
And
no,
I'm
there
not
should be.
excusing that guy in any stretch of the imagination. It's just I'm saying from a woman's perspective, as like when you are the victim of it, that's why it's like it's just hard sometimes to be like, yes, that's unequivocally what happened.
Being from the perspective, women are male. Being from the perspective where it's like you did not want this as much as the other person, you feel you were coerced into it is mind blowing. Like because I've been there, but it happens more to women than it
Yeah.
does to men because we're typically the ones who are excited about it.
Yeah, more excited. About
We were talking about this. Can a guy get raped?
I know. I wonder about how would you
I've
rape
had,
a guy?
I mean, you can get raped. Like,
Well,
you can
yeah,
have a
you can
woman,
get
like,
up the
hold you
ass
down and
raped.
peg you in the fucking ass, and you're like,
That's
this is
rape.
not what I want. Please stop. And you're trying not to cry because you know you got to tell the
Pegged
story
me,
later. Yeah, and you're trying your best.
Not what I wanted.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's not what I want. And, like, you're doing your best to, like, not, like, cry because you know you're going to have to tell your boys the story later. So it's like, you're doing
I can't wait to tell
everything.
my boys.
Well, it's like you can't wait.
Just like a dildo. in
It's
his
not
ass.
like you can't wait, but you got to make sure that, like, I got to tell someone about this. I got to make sure I took it like
But
a
can
man.
you rape? Can I get, if you didn't want to have sex with me and you were like, is there a pill I could give you where you pass out but I could still get your dick hard?
Roof
Yes,
him
yeah,
and
yeah,
give him a Viagra.
Yeah, you can do
Oh,
that.
you think that
probably do it.
you could probably get that?
You can try
But
it.
I've definitely,
Yeah.
I've definitely been in a situation where the girl wanted it so much. I didn't really want to do it, but I did it anyway because it's like, well, she really wants it, and and like, it's not even. I'm not even going to use the excuse like I'm a guy, I should want it. It's more like, when am I going to have this opportunity again anyway?
Yeah.
Like, I should be doing this as much as possible, just as practice or something like that.
You're kind of programmed to do that.
And then I did it, and like a few days later, I was like, or maybe like the next day, I was like, oh, God, I did not want to do that. Like that was
Right.
not, and that was, and I remember like dude, the way women will pressure men. This is why I get like really defensive. It's just like the way women like attack men and being like the most like pushy, and like we were talking earlier about like getting on our case about being angry for not having sex. Like the way women get, especially in the moment,
Yeah.
when you decide that like what, this is just not what I want. I don't want to do this. It's insane, man. They'll try everything too. They'll try crying, yelling, like fighting you. They'll go absolute ape shit
Yeah.
and do anything they can. Like, what are you, a faggot? What the fuck is wrong with you? What are you, an incel? Like, just anything they can say to make you basically. At the very least, it feels like. If they can't fuck you, they're gonna make you cry.
Yeah.
They're gonna make you do something bitch-like, so they can
Oh,
have
yeah,
something
yeah.
over your head, so it's not them who's at fault, it's you.
You know what? You talk about that. You're right. I mean, women's entitlement to sex is way supersedes men's, I think.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Like,
Thank
yeah,
you. That's
very
100% true.
I-
Women, the entitled ones.
I've heard friends of mine or friends of friends say really disgusting things about
So
like,
that's-
why don't you want to like you should want to fuck me,
Right.
and like you have to do it.
Right. That's why that whole conversation with women saying like there's men out there that think they're like entitled to sex. It's like there's men out there who rape women because they think they're like, they don't care how they get it. But
Yeah.
that's not entitlement. That's just like downright like, I don't give a fuck. I will
Yeah,
steal
like
it.
sociopath.
Entitlement is thinking like, you should be giving this to me because I want it. And
Yeah.
that is so the way
And
women
I get
go.
it whenever I want.
Right,
Yeah,
because
that's a
I'm the
female
woman
thing.
here, and like after everything that I've put up with, it's my choice. This is going to happen. It's just like, whoa, where the fuck are you getting this from? Like, who do you think you are? That like just because like, oh, yeah, sure, I was like excited about meeting you, and I was excited about this date, and yeah, I paid for dinner, and like I paid for this hotel room, or maybe like you paid for some of it, but just like you don't. In my case, it's usually they paid for a lot of it. But anyway, but my point is that. But that doesn't entitle you to my body.
Yeah, yeah.
That doesn't mean like if it goes both ways, sweetheart. If a guy doesn't get to buy you dinner and take you out for a fancy night at the opera, he can't expect sex.
Yeah.
Just because you bought me a cinnamon roll in a hotel room does not mean that I'm
Love
gonna
that.
I'm gonna ride you bareback, bitch.
Like a Cinnabon, like a big one.
No, not even not even a
Cinnabon?
Cinnabon, dude. No, just like a cinnamon roll, like just like
Oh,
a
man.
$1.50
At a
cinnamon roll from a
bakery,
coffee shop.
Crusty. Yeah, man. I mean, that's the thing is like, I think people need to like, when I say I believe like men and women have equal right, like I feel like men and women are totally equal, where I think I don't know, the way I hear women say that sometimes, it feels like women think they're of a moral high ground. Like we're equal, but women kind of just know more and are the better people.
When we talk
And-
about sex or just knowledge in general.
No, I'm talking about, I'm kind of talking about sex or roles in society that like, though a lot of people say like, we are equal, men and women are equal.
Right.
There's kind of like a subtext, but women are actually like kind of better people
Right.
than men. And I disagree
Morally.
with that, morally better. And
yeah.
I disagree. I think we are truly equal in our ways of manipulation and self.
We both have the same capacity.
You know,
We just have different techniques.
yes. And
Yes.
same selfishness and same desire
Right.
for our own
Right,
fulfillments.
or for our
and- yeah.
ego, for our desire to feel wanted and powerful, and their ability to get what we want. We just go about it different ways.
Yeah.
And the way women go about it, for some reason, gets more socially acceptable. For some reason,
I got a question. How do women express that entitlement to sex? When do they express it? Also, you know what I mean? Where they like, are they saying it to a guy at a bar or something? Like I expect you to
I
fuck
expect you to fuck me. I mean, I think probably like it probably happens at a bar, but then also just like I just know girls who are like, or probably I've even done that, where it's like I'm going on a date, and if I want to have sex with him, like I will be the deciding factor of what that happens. So then if I want to have sex with you and you're like, nah, I guess it just more so happens like, I don't know when it happens necessarily.
Well, you're saying girls who exhibit that behavior.
Yeah, and I would say like at a bar, you're talking. Yeah, you're talking amongst girls. Like amongst girls, there's just kind of that like, yeah, that like,
When I want it, I get it.
when I want it, I get it, and I could fuck any guy in this bar, and like that I wanted to.
will you girls ever make fun of a girl who can't do that? Like being like, "There's no way you're gonna be able to do that, Susan. Like you're not that girl." Like you couldn't fuck whoever you wanted to fuck. There's no.
And she's like 5 to 7 feet behind you guys at all times. Like, come on, wait up, guys.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
I can have sex.
Well, she's that like that tall guy in that group of friends who probably gets shit all the time about how he has to like get a girl drunk to fuck him.
Yeah.
Like, do girls ever have that girl in the relationship? It's just like, you know, like Becky, you're not that girl. Like no guy. Like it's like, let's be honest, you're.
I feel like girls are they're too careful they're not direct enough. So if like there's the kind of sketchy, like awkward, not attractive girl who's like, I can fuck anybody, we're like, keep that attitude. Like, yes.
Exactly. You see, you guys.
Believe
If
in
any guy did that around me, we would all be just shitting on him 24/7.
Yeah,
It's like,
totally.
oh yeah, you're
guys
such a
are much,
fucking
yeah,
stud.
guys are
That's
much
true.
different in that.
But that girl can probably get plenty of sex.
Yeah.
She can
Also-
get some and enough, but like I bet like I've seen groups of girls. There's that one who's just like, you are clearly the charity case, and you're getting the last choice at the buffet after they're all done.
Yeah.
And I'm always curious
gets to eat, though.
She usually is the one who eats the most. But my point is that like
She eats all the cinema.
I'm always curious with those relationships. Whenever I see girls like that, even if it's 1-on-1, when it's just two girls, there's that one who's like clearly like, you know, an 8 out of 10, and her friend's like this 4. I'm always like, are they honest about what's going on here? Like, are they?
No.
Do they
You would
explain to each?
never-
How
just
do you
wouldn't-
do
wouldn't be
that?
like yeah,
Well,
like
you know,
I almost
Sharon,
admire
she's the
sometimes
ugly
the way
one.
you talk. Yeah, like the way you talk when you're just like, yeah, I'm just have sex, like I have sex, and you guys can say that to each
Dude,
other. I would never go up to my girlfriends and be like, you know, I could fucking do whatever I wanted. You're not as attractive as me. Like, there's never that
I didn't
talk
say
with
that.
guys.
No, that's
Yeah, you
Ben
don't-
every
you
time
don't
we
say
hang
that.
out. That is every time.
You're
He's
not
like,
as
just so you know, Erickson, I get first pick. Remember that.
Hey, let's set the ground rules.
Yeah, there's
I'm
no
the
gra-
attractive
You don't say
guy.
let's set the ground rules. You say, like, are you aware of the rules? Is what you say.
don't
We're not
say that.
setting anything. You're just like, just so you know how it is, dude.
I don't even. I
He does- he-
continue.
no,
I'm
no.
doing what you're describing. I'm like, you're not an incel.
No. In all seriousness, he is that way. I'm the one who's always like, I'm not. It's like, I know you got first pick, man. Like I'm always the one telling him, like, I know how it is.
And
they're,
I don't-
they're noticing him
And
first.
I
don't feel
wasn't
that
talking.
way.
Yeah, I wasn't talking.
You don't
about
feel
two
that way because you don't have
specifically.
to.
Yeah.
You just all you do is
think-
write 6'2" on your Tinder profile,
I
and
think
you go
we're
out
all
with
the-
8 feet tall models, and you go like, oh, I guess
we're all God's creatures. We're all the same.
you're such a you're so full of shit, dude.
But the moral of the story is that women are way
The
more.
moral of the story. The moral of this story is that women are cunts.
Is that rape is fine.
And rape is, and you can't report rape, so why bother?
yeah. What's the
And
point?
stop carrying
And leave
a
your
mattress
mattress at home.
Stop trying to get attention.
Yeah.
It's
Oh my
college. Go
God.
read a book. You're not an adult. No one's going to listen to you.
But I meant more about women not being as direct with each other and be, you know, it's like I would never tell it like a kind of homely looking girl, like, dude, that
describe
dude's
her?
never gonna get it.
Big nose, welts on the face. What does she look like?
No, usually like kind of plain.
I think that's how you hurt each other. I
small.
really think you girls hurt each other by not being
By not being.
by not
I agree.
being
I
honest
agree
with each
because then
other.
it's all implicit in
Well, they
things,
see it
and
too.
you're not.
They
you're
see
not.
it when you keep on having every guy at the bar hit on you, and you go home with the guy that they were hoping would notice their awesome
Yeah.
personality, and you still go like, "Oh my god, I had no idea you liked him. I'm so sorry. We just got along so well."
Yeah,
like
that's
don't worry
so-
though.
oh
I'm
my
it's
God,
like
that's just
he's
so
got a
true.
friend who also is hoping he can fuck me next, but like maybe he'll just take you instead. I don't know. Like,
Yeah. There's it's We're just
It kills me. I'll
It
be
hurts.
around
It's
it. I'll
hurtful.
see these girls walk out of a fucking dressing room with their friends, looking like just like a fucking a circus clown, and because it's just like they're trying to wear things that don't belong on
Yeah,
their
their
body.
body.
And the
Yeah.
girl's like, "That's great. I love the way that skirt looks."
I
And it's
know.
like,
Like instead of being like your roles
Yeah.
are
And
just
then they're like,
like
wait, why is
perfect.
that guy watching us?
Yeah. Why is that blonde guy in the ladies' dressing room?
and I'm looking at him like, "You should be disappointed in yourselves." Honestly,
Yeah.
that's what it comes down to. Don't even focus on me.
He's
Yeah,
like,
he's
here's
gotta-
the truth.
He's got a hey, want to come on my podcast? He's got a headset on.
I've got an A6N in my hand and a microphone. I'm just pointing in their direction. Welcome to the Black Pill Podcast. But you know what I mean?
You're fat. Don't wear that dress.
It kills me though, because like the way you girls you give faux compliments, like, oh, I love that shirt, and I'm just like, yeah, she loves that shirt. She doesn't love the way it looks on you. Like it's just, and they eat it up. They don't even have the guts to say to you like, I know, I'm a freak. I should really not be doing this at all. But you see it. It's just,
no, you're right.
So bad.
Girls are not honest with each other, and it's just like, and it's always like, oh no, you look fierce in that hat.
Fierce. You look
Hate that
fierce,
word.
girl.
That's when you know a girl's lying when she uses gay terminology.
Yeah. No, that's so. Yeah, it's just. I don't know. I mean, that's honestly why I've never had more than 2 good girlfriends like that I've hung out. I can't hang out with like 8 girls. Like there are girls who exclusively do that. They're going on trips with each other. I can't do that because the truth of the matter is, and I will paint that with a broad brush, there's just very little honest conversation happening between 5 to 8 women.
I watch Basketball Wives. I know what it's like.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the only ones I really watched, I'm like, wow. If you ever seen Real Housewives of Atlanta, they're much more honest with each other than any other of those groups.
Because they're black.
Possibly. I think
I've never seen
maybe
it.
like
Well,
a
Housewives of Atlanta.
I think there's
I
more
heard
of
of some nice areas there.
It's probably a cultural
There's some
thing.
rich people there, right?
Yeah, right. There's
They're
like,
black.
Yeah. If you look
Okay.
at Rich Housewives of Atlanta versus like the Beverly Hills, there's so much more honesty about like you don't look
could be a
good. You know,
cultural thing.
I think it's a cultural thing, and I respect the Housewives of Atlanta.
maybe that's why black
for
women are
doing it.
overlooked so often. Is that the white women are keeping them down because they know they're just going to ruin it for them.
Wait,
Because they're
what?
going to be honest and ruin it.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, they know black women will just tell it how it is, so they keep on being like, we can't have you be the face of the movement because you're gonna say something that's just too real. So we're just gonna have like this very
You're giving
attractive
white women
blonde.
too much credit. They're just racist.
Yeah, I think it's just I can't believe white women have been getting away with as much as they have.
Yeah.
What's the number one thing
What are we
white
gonna
women have been
take
getting
down
away
white
with
women?
lately?
Yeah,
You're-
I think white women are next.
Oh
They're-
no, I think gay guys are
being
next.
said a
To
fair
be
amount.
honest, I think
Gay
women.
guys
I
might
think
be next.
I think the like in case of emergency like button for white women is to turn on gay dudes.
Yeah,
I really do.
That's why
I
we
think-
keep them close to us.
Right, exactly.
Well, then that's what's gonna happen. We're gonna turn on white women, and then they're gonna turn on gay guys, and they're both going down.
Oh, I can only hope.
possibly.
I would
And
love.
we're
I would
bitchy
love
enough
for them to
cling
kill each other.
and
That would be
take each
amazing.
other
They kill
down.
each other, and it goes right back to a heteronormative world for all of us.
Yep.
Yeah,
Where
It's just-
rape is legal.
right. Yeah.
Oh, I can't believe
Oh
that.
man, that'll be great.
That's the punishment. We're like, okay, we're sorry. We're
Oh,
we're
thank
making rape
God.
legal again, and
my
and
ex-wife
homosexuality
again.
is not
Fantastic.
okay.
Thank God. But but seriously, that was a hard part of the Me Too movement for me. Was I was like, God, this is a lot of attractive white women complaining. Like,
Well, that's
you're
what you
putting
wanna
a big
see.
spotlight on yourself to just get taken down next. I was honestly, some of that I was like,
What do you think? What do you think they're gonna get taken down for?
for how shitty of people that white women are.
Treating
It's-
people poorly,
treating
lying,
people poorly, the
exaggerating.
power that we wield in society
you
to
go, see?
complain. I mean, look at that, calling
Based.
cops, complaining to management, getting people fired.
Wait,
Like,
what
that's
do
a
you, what do you do to
white woman
cops? What do you do to
classic.
cops?
What
Just
was
get
that?
away with murder.
What do women do to cops?
What do women do?
White
to
women do to
cops?
cops. You're just saying about cops.
Are you blowing cops?
Calling the cops.
That's not a good thing?
on people.
Oh,
You know what
that's
I'm
a white
saying?
woman thing.
Like,
They call
oh, totally. Like a
that
white
makes
woman
sense.
being like, willy nilly calling the cops and
Yes.
not realizing,
I'm
like,
gonna call the
when you call a
cops.
cop on a Hispanic person or a black person, like, they're going to be treated much differently than a cop.
Other
on
than
the
a
whole-
white
on
woman,
the
yeah.
whole,
No, white
yeah.
women are the most favored by cops. By
Oh my God,
none,
I
yes.
get treated so well by cops.
They want to give you a free Diet Coke recently?
No, but one pulled me over for clearly blowing through a red light and gave me a warning.
You told me that story.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
told you
remember
that.
that. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think you
With
said that on this
Bob.
podcast actually 2 weeks ago. I think that was like your first story.
Maybe. And then, but the amount of times that I've just been like,
Also, wait,
pulled
on your bike? Because
over-
you ride a bike.
I do
everywhere.
I do have a car though.
Oh, okay.
But I've been pulled over, and I mean, it's just it's whatever. It's probably a combination. On New Year's Day, I got pulled over, let off, speeding 15 over, let off with a warning. I get warnings.
Yeah,
from
you're
cops
the
all the time.
luckiest. I mean, let's be honest. Most privileged class in America, white women.
White women.
Yeah, 100%.
Attractive white women.
Yes.
Attractive white
do
women,
anything
yes.
that they want.
You girls let the fat girls have a taste of it every so often. You let them believe that they're part of the movement by having JCPenney make models that look like them. you patronize them to make
Yeah.
them feel like they're on the same level as you.
Yep,
But at the end
yep.
of the day, they're really just kind of like they're just your decoys. They're just they're your patsies. Yeah, really, it's just pretty white women. They rule the world.
Yeah.
It's kind of an exaggeration, I think.
Yeah, says a straight white male. Okay, I think we're done for the day.
What are
guys.
you?
I didn't say it though.
Yeah.
I'm
Says a straight white man.
I'm Jewish. Thank you.
Me too.
Nah, we'll see. Do we plug things or do we just sign off?
How many viewers do we have?
Well, right now 0, but who knows? This could catch on.
This might catch fire.
Can we put it? Can we caption it?
Caption what?
The plugs,
Caption plugs? What do you mean?
like whatever the fuck. Can we just write that underneath?
Oh
the
yeah, sure,
video?
no problem.
Yeah.
Okay, well, guys, we'll do this some other time. Anyone who's listening, thanks for listening. And this is the Comedy Office podcast, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah.